best album already? What? How long has Vamps been active for now? Only 5 years, 2 albums, 9 singles, 20, 30 some songs. A best album already? Man, what is going on, Vamps fans? And I'm not going to lie, but it's simply too soon for Vamps to release a best album. Quite frankly, I think this should be called the English album because Hyde redid his vocals in English for these songs. The reason? As you may recall, Vamps joined Universal Music Japan in order to expand to the Western audience and appeal to them. And it can't be done if all the pronunciation were all Englishy and some lines in Japanese. That is why the band picked 13 of what they believe are their best songs and fixed them up for an international release. It's like they coincidentally picked the number 13, right? With the help of a recording studio here in Los Angeles and manager Jay, Hyde worked tirelessly on his English. So let's take a look at the end results. The highlight of this album is Hyde's improvement on his English, of course. This time around, his pronunciation is much more clear and understandable in most of these songs. To be honest, it also changed my opinion on a few songs that I didn't like in the past. Take for example, I really did not like Devil's Side when it first came out. I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't hooked. Now comes the improved English Devil's Side, and all of a sudden, I'm listening to it almost every day since. Same goes for Revolution and Sweet Dreams. I didn't exactly hate Sweet Dreams version 1, but I always found a song to be off because of the Japanese and English mixture. Now that it's all English, it's more appeasing to the ears. It's amazing what subtle little changes can do to a listener. Perhaps I'm biased, but I love the English version of Memories. I will admit, I was thrown off the first few times I listened to it, but somewhere along the 3rd, 4th, or 5th listen, I started tearing up. This was one song I felt where Vamps nailed the lyrics while retaining the nostalgia feeling it's supposed to give off. I'm also glad they threw in the Life of Mars cover into the album. Since the lyrics weren't written by Hyde, it really pushes him to make every syllable count. You know the phrase, if it ain't broken, don't fix it? While many of the songs were vastly improved, there were some in particular that I felt didn't really needed the improvement, and because of the so-called improvement, it suffered in quality. Take both Love-A-Dick and Red Rum for example. I felt these songs lost their in their second version. Know what I'm saying? Hyde went overboard with Love-A-Dick. Yes, the version 1 had some English flaws, but for the most part, it was still catchy and a great song. Version 2 has Hyde emphasizing the word attic, which throws me off every time it came on. Red Rum had great pronunciation. However, it seems like Hyde focused way too much on that. That's why the energy felt like it was lost. Even though Hyde did work on his English pronunciation, there are times it is still hard to make out what the lyrics are. To be honest, for the songs that were already in English in the first place, I couldn't really tell if the pronunciation were clearer this time, or because I already knew the lyrics beforehand. But for the songs that went from Japanese to English, it was still a little hard to make out what Hyde was saying. I like to overlook that though. There are many times I listen to American music that I couldn't even understand what they're singing. In New York, concrete jungles, wet dreams, tomatoes, these lights will inspire you. You are the piece of me I wish I didn't eat. Oppa Gangnam Style. Wait a minute. That's not American music. What's it doing on American radio? Aside from the English, the band worked on some minor and subtle improvements in the instruments and the performances. Some of the guitar parts were changed a little, like Angel Trip, or an added different effect for the solos like Sweet Dreams. Speaking of Sweet Dreams, there are also added lyrics that Hyde usually does only in live, but now is in the recording, which I thought made the song a lot more emotional than before. The two songs that I felt that didn't need a version 2 were Vampire Depression and My First Last, because they're almost identical to the original versions. Personally, I felt Cosmos and Evanescence deserved the English treatment more, since the lyrics were mainly in Japanese. Now for the remixes. The only one that I did not enjoy was Sex Blood Rock and Roll. However, I did like Hunting 2 and Revolution 2. Hunting 2 became almost like a dance mix, which I felt would be very great for a club environment. If you haven't noticed, the tracklist is organized like a live setlist, minus the intro like Plug In or Bite. Most of their lives have always began with Devil's Side, followed up by Red Rum, and most of their lives end with Sex, Blood, Rock and Roll. And as mentioned already, a lot of extra bits that Hyde do in their lives are now in the album, therefore replicating a live atmosphere. Overall, it's more or less the perfect album to showcase Vamps' talent here in the States, so I can understand why this is their best album. I nitpicked a few things in this review, but only because I followed Vamps since their beginning. To those who are going to start Vamps, they aren't going to know the differences from this version and the original version, so a lot of what I just said wouldn't mean anything to them. For those of us who are a longtime fan of Vamps, I'd give this album an 8 out of 10. Seriously, a big improvement on 80% of the songs. 9 out of 10 for those who are thinking about getting into Vamps. This is the perfect album because it showcases the best of Vamps so far. I honestly think releasing this album is a great move on their part, and it is available worldwide instead of just Japan and surrounding Asian countries. Remember, Vamps expressed interest in doing a reverse release where their Japanese fans would have to be the ones importing the new albums instead of the overseas fans. Although that does sound like a great idea, it has yet to take effect. Right now, there's still a Japanese release of Sex, Blood, Rock and Roll, and there are different limited editions compared to the international edition. It is unclear if or when they will incorporate the reverse import idea, but either way, we in the US are finally able to purchase the album off US stores. This in itself is a step forward. Obviously, the Japan editions are much more enticing than that of the international editions because of the bonus goodies. However, please consider buying your country's release. It will help build a better statistics for Vamps so that they can plan their next tour based on the countries with decent album sales. The international album is much more affordable than its Japanese counterparts, so it's a truly win-win situation for both the fans and the band. However, there are certainly more work to be done, like more promotion, more exposure, maybe some radio play, maybe some TV commercials or something. But as of now, I am content with the Sex, Blood, Rock and Roll US release. Wait, what? Disc made in Germany? Well, that is it for this review of the Sex, Blood, Rock and Roll English album. As always, the sun keeps brightening up my shots and screwing it up. As always, let me know what you think of the album as well as this review. I cannot wait for the Vamps US tour, and let me know if you guys are going to be at the LA show because I want to meet you guys. And also, dress up. My friend who is the head of the Vamps American Street Team wants to throw a Halloween party for the band. It's a little too late for costumes by then, but that is why the event is called Nightmare Before Christmas. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.